Morning. Let us take another problem with slight higher order. A single overhanging beam subjected to a uniformly distributed load over a length of 3 meter, and a point load is acting at a distance of 1 meter from left support, and a point load is acting at the extreme right hand side on the overhanged portion. For this condition, it is asked to draw shear force diagram, bending moment diagram, marking the salient values. So, after drawing the loading diagram, let us analyze the loading condition acting on the beam. Supports are simple here, and the loads are uniformly distributed load acting over a length of 3 meter from left support. The intensity of UDL is 30 kilonewton per meter. A point load of 15 kilonewton acting at a distance 1 meter, and another point load is acting on the extreme right hand side free end. As usual, let us mark the salient points. So, our regular passion is for the support we give A and B unless specified. The next points are on the point of point load, let us mark it as C, next end of the UDL D, lastly the free end is E. Let us write the reactions at A, RA, RB. Calculate support reactions. Support reactions. State the support reactions. Let RA and RB be the support reactions at A and B. Respectively. After stating support reactions, now let us apply equilibrium condition. As usual, we apply the moment equilibrium condition first, then the vertical force equilibrium condition. If you apply moment equilibrium condition first, if we take a moment at an unknown point at point A or B, one unknown becomes 0. When you take moment at point A, RB becomes 0. If you take moment at point B, RA becomes 0. Let us take moment about point A by applying moment equilibrium condition. Next, for equilibrium condition, applying sigma m about A is equal to 0. Now, let us consider all the loads acting on the beam, including support reactions. The load which do not create moment will not be considered here for simplicity and to avoid confusion. Here, if you take moment at point A, moment due to RA at point A is 0 and we are not writing. Then moment due to this point load will try to rotate the beam in the clockwise direction, positive. Then this 30 kilonewton per meter UDL, convert UDL to a point load, and this point load of UDL is also try to rotate the beam in the clockwise direction, that is also positive. Then RB will try to rotate the beam in the anti-clockwise direction, negative. Lastly, this 15 kilonewton force will try to rotate the beam in the clockwise direction, positive. Let us consider one by one from left hand side to right hand side. If I consider 15 kilonewton point load, it is creating clockwise moment positive, 15 into its perpendicular distance is 1 meter. Next, convert this UDL to a point load, and this point load of UDL is also creating clockwise moment, hence it is positive, plus 30 into 3 is a point load, and it is acting at the midspan of the UDL, not this 2 meter, since we are considering this 3 meter UDL and 30 into 3, and it is acting at the midspan of the UDL, not or 1 meter or 2 meter, it is 3 by 2. 3 into 3 into 3 by 2. Then this RB will create anti-clockwise moment minus RB into, so 2.23 plus 3, 6 meter. Lastly, this point load will create clockwise moment about point A. It is plus 15 into 6 plus 1.5, 7.5, that is equal to 0. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loads. Of these 5 loads, RA will not create any moment, that we are not written here. And remaining 5 loads we have considered 4 loads, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that is equal to 0. If we solve this expression, we will get RB. RB is equal to 43.5 kilonewton. So we calculated RB. Another unknown RA can be easily calculated by applying another equilibrium, known equilibrium condition. Let us apply a force equilibrium condition, and applying sigma V is equal to 0, vertical force equilibrium condition. That is, here we consider all the loads acting on the beam, including support reaction. In the previous step, while calculating RB to apply moment equilibrium condition, there also we consider all the loads acting on the beam, including support reactions, and the force or load which will not create moment is not considered. Whereas here, when you apply vertical force equilibrium condition, we consider all the loads acting on the beam, including support reactions. By treating upward as positive, automatically downward will be negative. Let us consider loads one by one, starting from point A. At point A, reaction RA acting in the upward direction, RA positive. Next, consider this point load 15 kilonewton acting in the downward direction. When we treat RA as positive, automatically this 15 kilonewton becomes negative. Convert this UDL to a point load, 30 into 3, and this point load is also acting in the downward direction, minus 30 into 3. Next, after this point load and UDL, next it is RB acting in the upward direction, plus RB. Lastly, at point E, a point load acting in the downward direction, it is negative, minus 15, that is equal to 0. So RA plus RB is equal to, it is 120. Solving this, RA is equal to 120 minus RB, that is equal to 120 minus RB, 43.75, 76.25 kilonewton. So like this we can calculate the reactions at the supports. After calculating reactions at the support, so let us write those reactions on the loading diagram. 76.25 kilonewton RA, RB 43.75 kilonewton. Next step is to draw the shear force diagram. As we know that we can draw the shear force diagram by using the completed loading diagram. Remember, completed loading diagram. When you calculate support reaction and write on the loading diagram, it is a completed loading diagram. By using the completed loading diagram, we can draw the shear force diagram. Now produce all the salient points in the downward direction by means of dotted line. Leave sufficient space and draw the reference line. As usual, on the reference line values are 0, above reference line values are positive, and below reference line values are negative. We proceed in the direction of loads acting, starting from the reference line, and of course this RA acting below, but it is the direction is acting in the upward direction. We can show here, or we can extend here and show here also. So means RA acting in the upward direction with respect to the reference line and go up vertically. We know the variation of shear force diagram for point load, it is a vertical line. Go up vertically by 76.25 kilonewton. So this we did already in the previous problems. Next, here it is we need to understand between A and D continuously UDL is acting. Again, between A and C also UDL is acting of same intensity. At point C there is a point load, and we consider C also a salient point. Hence, these two segments to be considered separately. We have to consider AC segment and then CD segment. First consider segment AC, and the intensity of UDL is 30 kilonewton per meter, and draw the shear force diagram for this AC. Then consider 15 kilonewton and draw the shear force diagram for point load. Next consider UDL between C and D, then draw shear force diagram. Intensity of UDL, it is uniform throughout the length between C and D. It is 30 kilonewton per meter. So between A and C also it is 30 kilonewton per meter. Hence, we can comfortably convert this UDL to a point load between A and C. The magnitude of point load of UDL between A and C is equal to 30 into the span 1 meter. 30 into 1, 30 kilonewton point load, and that it is known that all point loads are if it is not mentioned acting in the downward direction. And we know the variation of shear force diagram for uniformly distributed load. It is a vertical line or inclined in the linear line, inclined line or linear line. 30 into 1, 30, and from A to C it has to come down linearly by 30 kilonewton. We had gone up by 76.25, and between A and C there is UDL. We had come down by 30 kilonewton linearly. So 76.25 minus 30, it is 46.25 kilonewton. So remaining value, if you come down by 30 kilonewton, So remaining value is 46.25 kilonewton when we reach to point C. At point C there is a point load. Variation of shear force diagram for point load is a vertical line, and you have to move in the direction of loads acting. So it is acting in the downward direction, come down by 15 kilonewton vertically. 46.25 kilonewton minus 15, it is 31.25 kilonewton. Next, after considering point load, 15 kilonewton point load, again there is UDL between C and D. Now let us consider this UDL to a point load 30 into 2, 60 kilonewton, and we know the variation of shear force diagram for uniformly distributed load. It is a linear line or inclined line. It has to come down linearly by 60 kilonewton between C and D. So above reference line there is only 31.25 kilonewton. Forcibly we have to move or we have to come down by 60 kilonewton. Hence the shear force diagram will forcibly cross the reference line at an unknown point between C and D. Above reference line there is only 31.25 kilonewton. Between C and D UDL is there. Convert this UDL to point load 30 into 2, 60 kilonewton. We have to come down linearly by 60 kilonewton. If we come down linearly by 60 kilonewton, it will cross the reference line at an unknown point. So 31.25 minus 60, it is 28.75 kilonewton. So got this point. So this is critical portion. We should not consider UDL in a short. Based on the points acting, or since we have considered salient points because a point load is acting, separately we have to consider. Of course, while calculating support reaction, we have considered this entire UDL for simplicity. Whereas, to draw the shear force diagram, we have to consider segments separately by considering uniformly distributed load first, then point load, next UDL. So for this, the variation will be like this. You can see here between A and C, the variation is a linear or inclined line. At point C, there is a point load acting in the downward direction. Between C and D, uniformly distributed, again it's a linear line. So after reaching to point D, between D and B, there is a no loading condition. For the no loading condition, variation of shear force diagram is a horizontal line. So here also it is 28.75 kilonewton. At point B there is a upward load in the form of support reaction. So move up by 43.75 kilonewton. Below reference line we have 28.75 kilonewton. If you go up by 43.75, forcibly it will cross the reference line, and the remaining value is 15 kilonewton. Between B and E, no load, again horizontal line. At point E, there is a point load, 15 kilonewton. The same value is also carried out here, 15 kilonewton here also it is 15 kilonewton. At point E there is a point load acting in downward direction, come down vertically by 15 kilonewton, join with the reference line. So shear force diagram, above reference line positive, below reference line negative, and again above reference line positive. This is our shear force diagram. You can you have marked the salient points A, C, D, B, E. Then calculated support reaction. After support reaction, we have drawn the shear force diagram. You can see the shear force values here. So at salient point A, it is 76.25 kilonewton positive. At point C, there are two shear force. It is 46.25 kilonewton and 31.25 kilonewton because of this combined UDL and point load. Next, you can see another salient point here. Shear force diagram changing its sign from positive to negative at an unknown point. That unknown point to be marked on the shear force diagram as well as on the loading diagram. Let us produce this point and mark it on the loading diagram. Further also I can proceed this in the downward direction. So let us mark this point A, B, C, D, E, F. Let this F is acting at a distance of x from left support. Mark here also. Of course, shear force diagram changed its sign at an unknown point from positive to negative, and we already declared that shear force on the reference line is 0. Even at that unknown point also we know the shear force. Shear force is 0 at point F. So knowing values of shear force at all the salient points, let us write these shear forces under the heading shear force. Shear force F. Shear force at A, comma FA is equal to 76.25. Shear force at point C, FC is equal to above reference line positive, it is 46.25 kilonewton and another value 31.25 kilonewton. Shear force at F, it is 0, FC is equal to 0, FF. Next, shear force at point D, FD, it is below reference line negative, minus 28.75 kilonewton. Then shear force at point B, FB, is equal to minus 28.75 kilonewton, and one more value, it crossed the reference line, 15 kilonewton above reference line positive. Lastly, shear force at point E, FE, is equal to 15 kilonewton and 0. So these are the shear force values at various salient points. After completing the shear force diagram marking salient points, let us draw the shear force diagram, bending moment diagram. To draw bending moment diagram, we cannot draw the diagram directly. We need to calculate bending moments at various salient points, including the recently located point F. Now calculate bending moments one by one. Bending moment at A, comma MA, by considering forces to the left hand side 0, because no forces, no bending moment at to the left of the point A considered. Next, calculate bending moment at point C, MC, by considering forces to the left hand side. To the left of C, there are two loads. One is the support reaction, another one is a UDL of 30 kilonewton per meter intensity. So support reaction will create a clockwise moment about point C, and UDL will create the anti-clockwise moment about point C. Treat clockwise to the left of the point, consider treat clockwise as positive, anti-clockwise as negative. 76.25 into 1 76.25 into 1, and this UDL will create anti-clockwise moment minus 30 into 1 into 1 by 2 minus 30 into 1. 30 into 1, we are converting UDL to a point load, into 1 by 2 means it is acting at the midpoint of the UDL. So only two loads to left of C. Solving, you will get the bending moment at point C is equal to 61.25 kilonewton meter. Next point is point F. We need to calculate it at this salient point also, and we already discussed that in the previous problem. Wherever shear force changes from positive to negative, their bending moment may be maximum or minimum. Generally it is maximum. To know the bending moment at point F, you need another value, it is x, the location of F from left support we have marked. We need to calculate F, that distance x from left support. We already know that shear force at point F is 0. Let us take out the portion of the beam to the left of point F. Write expression for shear force at point F by considering forces to the left side or to the right side and equate it to 0, you will get x value. Here for simplicity, let us consider the portion of the beam to the left of the point F and write expression for shear force and equate it to 0, you will get x. Let us consider the portion of the beam to the left of the point F. To the left of the point F, there is a point load here, it is 15 kilonewton acting, and again the UDL is there. The intensity of UDL is 30 kilonewton per meter, and the support reaction 76.25 kilonewton. So 1 meter from A to C. So this distance we considered as x value. So as it is, we have copied the loading diagram written here. Now shear force at point F. Shear force at point F is 0. Write expression for shear force by considering forces to the left of F. Even if you consider forces right of F also, we will get the same value, because we know that shear force at a point is equal to algebraic sum of all the forces to the left of the point or to the right of the point considered gives us shear force at that point. Here for convenience, let us say, let us consider forces to the left of the point F and write expression for shear force. To the left of the point F, shear force at F, FF by considering forces to the left of the point. You refer this figure only. So a support reaction acting and UDL is there of intensity 30 kilonewton per meter over a span of x and a point load acting. Shear force is a force. It is a force only. To calculate or to consider, always we have to treat the shear force as a force. To calculate shear force at a point, we have to consider only those forces. If it is a point load, as it is, you consider point load. If it is a uniformly load with distributed load, convert uniformly distributed load into a point load. Along with the sign conventions, we have to consider. If we consider forces to the left of the point to calculate shear force, treat upward force as positive, automatically the downward force will be negative. Here first identify the number of loads. A reaction 76.25 kilonewton acting in the upward direction a point load acting in the downward direction 15 kilonewton, another UDL it is acting in the downward direction. This 76.25 kilonewton can be considered as it is. Next, this 15 kilonewton can also be considered as it is. Then convert this uniformly distributed load into a point load, and it is acting in the downward direction. We want only their magnitude and their direction, that's all. 76.25 kilonewton positive. Next, directly without considering distance, we have to write this, because in shear force we have to consider only forces. 76.25 kilonewton upward minus 15 kilonewton, next minus 30 into x, that is equal to 0, that's all. Is equal to 0, that is FF is equal to 76.25 minus 15 minus 30 into x is equal to 0, that's all. To consider only forces, to calculate shear force we have to consider only forces, we should not consider distance. Along with force we have to consider the sign convention. If you consider forces to the left of the point, treat upward positive, downward negative. Here don't make confusion with this this UDL. Of course, here I have written 30 into x, it is just to convert uniform distributed load to a point load along with their sign convention. 76.25 positive minus 15 minus 30 into x, that is equal to 0. Solving this, we will get x is equal to 2.04 meters. Once we know this x value, comfortably we can calculate bending moment at this point F. Again, to calculate bending moment at point F also, let us consider the same figure to avoid confusion going to there in loading for loading diagram. Just consider this diagram only and calculate bending moment at point F by considering this figure. MF by considering forces to the left hand side is equal to, again there are three loads here. A support reaction, it is creating clockwise movement about point F. A point load, it is creating a anti-clockwise movement about point F. This UDL is also creating anti-clockwise movement about point F. Treat clockwise to the left of the point, consider treat clockwise as positive, automatically the anti-clockwise movements will be negative. 76.25 kilonewton multiplied by this distance we calculated 2.04. Next, consider this point load. This point load again creating anti-clockwise movement about point F minus 15 into its perpendicular distance from here to here. So, we calculated x value, it is 2.04. From A to C 1 meter, the remaining distance is 1.04 minus 15 into 1.04. Next, consider this UDL. This UDL is also creating anti-clockwise movement to the left of the point, again anti-clockwise is negative, minus 30 into 2.04. 30 into 2.04, and this is to convert UDL to a point load, into 30 into 2.04 by 2. This is distance. 76.25 into 2.04, distance calculated. Positive minus 15 into 1.04, that is 2.04 minus 1, it is equal to 1.04. Then minus this UDL 30 into 2.04 point load, and this point load is acting at midspan of this 2.04 by 2. Solving this, you will get 77.53 kilonewton meter. Next, let us calculate bending moment at point D. Bending moment at point D. Here, to calculate bending moment, we can consider forces to the left of the point D or to the right of the point D. Sides considered depends upon the number of loads acting to the sides. For easy calculation purpose, we consider the side having minimum number of forces. Whether you consider forces to the left of the point or to the right of the point, we will get the same value. So, let us consider the forces acting to the right of the point D, MD, by considering forces to the right side. To the right of the point D, there are two forces. It is one is support reaction acting in the anti-clockwise direction, it is creating anti-clockwise moment, and this point load it is creating a clockwise moment. To the right of the point D, as we know that it is clockwise moment will lift the beam in the upward direction, it is again moment, and anti-clockwise moment will try to bend the beam in the downward direction. Hence, to the right of the point consider treat anti-clockwise as positive and clockwise as negative. Though this RB creating anti-clockwise moment, we consider it as positive. 43.75 into 3. Next, this 15 kilonewton will create a clockwise moment to the right of the point minus 15 into 3 plus 1.5, it is 4.5. Solving will get 63.75 kilonewton meter. Even if we consider forces to the left of D also, we will get the same value. You can check for your clarification. Now, let us calculate bending moment at point B. MB by considering forces to the right hand side. To the right side of B, of course, a support reaction acting at point B and there is a point load acting at E. This support reaction will not create any moment on about point B, and hence we are not considering this value. It is not creating any moment, and let us not elaborate this, already we discussed in length about this. Next, this point load will create a clockwise moment about point B. This clockwise moment will try to bend the beam in the upward direction, hogging bending moment, hence it is negative. Minus 15 into 1.5, that is equal to 22.5 kilonewton meter, it is negative value. Lastly, bending moment at point E. At point E, again if you consider forces to the left hand side, as there are no forces, bending moment due to bending moment at point E is 0. Even if you consider all the loads acting on the beam to left of E, we will get the 0 value. We can check it. After calculating bending moments at various salient points, we can comfortably draw the bending moment diagram. Based on the values calculated, let us draw the reference line. Again, on the reference line, values are 0. Bending moment calculated at point A is 0. Bending moment at point C, it is 61.25. 61.25 kilonewton meter. Bending moment calculated F at F is equal to 77.53. 77.53 kilonewton meter. Then bending moment at point D 63.75 kilonewton meter. Bending moment at point B, it is minus 22. 22. When you write values above or below reference line, simply we ignore the the sign conventions. When we write this value below reference line, automatically it indicates it is the negative value 22.5 kilonewton meter. Lastly, bending moment at point E is 0. To draw bending moment diagram, and we know the variation of bending moment diagram for various loading condition. For again in whatever the order we calculated bending moment, in the same order let us draw the bending moment diagram joining points by points. Between A and C there is a UDL. At point A bending moment diagram is 0, bending moment is 0, 0. Next, between A and C there is UDL. For uniformly distributed load, the variation of bending moment diagram is a parabola. And at point C there is a point load, there is no change in the bending moment diagram. Between C and F again there is a uniformly distributed load, the diagram is a parabola. Between F and D also there is UDL, diagram is a parabola. Between D and B there is no load, diagram is a linear line. Between B and E no load, diagram is a linear line. We can see here bending moment diagram varied parabolically between A and D. Then when it moves in a linear line in a single degree condition, forcibly it has crossed the reference line at an unknown point between D and B. This unknown point, as we already discussed, wherever shear force diagram changing its sign, bending moment diagram changing its sign from positive to negative, that changed point is known as point of contraflexure. There bending moment is 0. So this is another salient point. Let us mark it as G. Let us produce this G also to meet the loading diagram. Let this G acts at a distance of y from right support. Let us mark this y on the loading diagram also. As we already discussed, wherever bending moment diagram changes its sign from positive to negative or negative to positive, there that point is known as point of contraflexure. If point of contraflexure exists on the bending moment diagram, we have to locate that point of contraflexure. Locating is nothing but identifying this point from the nearby point, nearby salient points. It is for convenience I taken point B as reference. Even you can take from the extreme right hand side like what we have considered here for x value. So this is our bending moment diagram. To locate point of contraflexure, we know bending moment at point at G is 0. Repeat this procedure what we did here to calculate shear force, to calculate this x. Knowing the shear force at point F, we considered the forces to left of the point F. We have written the expression for shear force and equated to 0, we got x value. Repeat the same to calculate y here also. We know bending moment at point G is 0. Write expression for bending moment at point G. Knowing the value of bending moment at point G, write expression for bending moment at point G by considering forces to the left of the point again or to the right of the point and equate it to 0, you will get y. Again here it is easy consideration. To the left of the G, if we consider there are 1, 2, 3 loads, and to the right of the point if we consider only 2 loads, again the 2 point loads are ready-made loads, easy. Always you have to consider the sides by careful observation of the loading condition. So to right of the point G, consider bending moment at G, comma mg by considering forces to the right hand side is equal to 0. That is, to the right side of the point G, consider only 2 loads here, support reaction acting in the upward direction and this point load acting in the downward direction. Same sign convention valid here also. To the right side of the point, consider treat anti-clockwise positive and clockwise negative. It is 43.75. So this 43.75 will create anti-clockwise moment. To the right of the point G, it is anti-clockwise is positive. 43.75 into Y. Next, consider this point load. This point load will create a clockwise moment. To the right of the point, clockwise is negative, minus 15 into, it is the distance is Y plus 1.5. Y plus 1.5, that is equal to 0. 43.75 Y minus 15 Y minus 15 into 1.5, it is 22.2.5 Y, that is equal to 0. Solving this, we will get Y is equal to 0.78 meter. So bending moment above reference line positive, bending moment below reference line negative. We can show the variation. This is a parabola. Also we can mark this as point of contrafluxure. Like this, we can draw shear force and bending moment diagram, and also we can mark the values. So one more thing you can notice here, shear force diagram changed its sign from positive to negative, negative to positive at 2 points, point F and the B, and we got values there. Here at point F, the values are maximum, 77.53 kilonewton meter is maximum, and that is the maximum bending moment due to these applied loads in this beam. And at point B, it is negative value. So for the same problem, they can ask to locate the point of maximum bending moment and also to locate the point of contrafluxure. So with this discussion, let us wind up this class, and for more discussions we will meet the next class. Thank you.